Counselor, there's a raccoon stuck in the vending machine.
That's so annoying. I wanted a snack.
Welcome to Trail Mix.
Our mini episodes from Camp Counselors podcast.
Each week, the stories come from you, our Camp Shady Birch campers.
We want to hear your juicy gossip,
Top secret confessions,
embarrassing and scary stories.
and sprinkle in our sage counselor advice.
Trail Mix is for the campers.
And God, do we love ya.
Hey, happy campers.
Welcome back. Do you know where you're at? Do you know where you're at? Wake up.
Hello.
You're at Camp Shady Birch.
Camper, wake up.
I don't like this. Camper, wake up.
It is Trail Mix number 70, the big 7. Oh, we're almost at 100. Well, I guess we still have 30 more weeks, which
That is so far
quite
off.
some time
That's
away.
so far off.
But this is our mini episode where we read listener submitted stories brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hundreds of stories we've read since starting Camp Counselors.
So true.
And you know what? I love sprinkle cookies. I love pinoli cookies. I love good storytelling.
We've been getting a good bunch. This might be, in my humble onion, we are off to possibly the best year of trail mixes.
I was trying to segue into the starter of the episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
And we have, but
I'll just keep my mouth shut.
You were supposed to say, and we watched something really good that we wanted to talk about.
Okay, strike that. Reverse it, campers.
No, okay.
Wipe
so
your mem.
I'll say the pinoli part again, and then you say this again.
Period.
I love pinoli cookies.
And I love something we just watched this week that
There
we
you go,
both
you got
really
there.
loved. Okay, there it is.
So we were in the market. We were shopping around. We had our little carriages for a good kind of crime drama. Did you put it on? I think you put it on. I didn't put it on.
Who put it on?
I'll tell you what we put on, because they're like, what the fuck did you even put on? Mayor of Easttown on HBO. Came out in 2021, and I'll read you what the description of the show is about. Mayor Sheehan, which I have to explain that first before we even do the episode description. Actually, no, that's not true. I'll do the episode description first.
Okay.
Mayor Sheehan, an office police okay, wait. Let me try. Wait, that was crazy. Why did they write that? They said Mayor Sheehan, HBO wrote this. Mayor Sheehan, an office police investigator. Why would they say it like that?
An officer?
No, it says an office. I didn't type it. I copied and pasted. Whatever. She's a detective. That's what she really is. In a small Pennsylvania town, investigates a brutal murder as she tries to keep her life from falling apart. So, really quickly, she's played by Kate Winslet, but Mare is short for like Mary Ellen.
Yeah, or Marianne.
Or Marianne, but I don't think that's a thing beyond Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I have an Aunt Mare.
You do because you're from there, but I had never heard of it. I've heard of this show for years. I thought it was called Mayor of Easttown. Like she was like
a mayor.
But no, her name, they just call her Mayor.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Or a mare is also a horse. It's a female horse.
Don't
M-A-R-E.
be rude on this podcast and call me a mare. Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. I love that crazy lady on TikTok. She's scaring me. But this show scared the fuck out of me. Oh my God. If they list it as a drama, would you call this a true crime drama? Well, it's not true crime.
It's false crime for sure. It's like a crime drama. I don't want to say thriller, but kind of thriller.
Oh, I think it's thriller.
It's very much in the same realm, but less freaky and more emotional as Silence of the Lambs, I would say. Like it's not as horror driven.
It's not horror.
There was definitely some parts that felt like Silence of the Lambs.
Mystery.
Yeah.
Betrayal.
Who did it? Who done it? It's a real page turner.
Oh my God. There's like multiple crimes happening at once while she's going through like the worst family life of her life. And she's like just truly like out there, like just trying to survive through personal drama and being a good detective. And Kate Winslet being British, doing a Delco accent. Like she won Emmys for this, and I understand why.
Yes, I feel like the Delco accent is hard to do, and if you hear it, it sounds crazy.
I can
especially because I don't know many other shows that are really pulling a Delco accent. Can you do one?
Yeah. Hey, Mir, I'm gonna head down to the Wawa. I'm gonna need a couple hoagies And then maybe, the boys are going to take the boat down to Schuylkill. And I told them, no, see, then I lose it. Then I
No,
lose it.
that's good though.
It's
You were
hard.
doing a lot of like,
Rooter.
they love a name
Hoagie.
drop of a town, and by they, like, I'm included in that, but I don't have a Delco accent. My family does.
Yeah. Is the Pope Catholic, Mir? Go get some hoagies and bring some pretzels down to the Eagles game, okay? The boys want to get some hoagies at Dallas Andrews. Yeah, you guys are just talking about food in family
and like
members.
and like intersections and streets and like old shops and sandwiches and subs. By subs, I mean hoagies.
Well, the show is great. It's only 7 episodes, and we watched it in 2 days. And it's one of those shows where I instantly wish I could delete from my mind to rewatch it.
It is, and I feel like I rarely come across those, and I didn't think that this was going to be that type of show because I heard the hype about it, but I didn't hear much. Like I didn't pay attention to the buzz.
Did you love it that it was so local to where you grew up?
Yeah, it was really cool because it definitely looked like some parts of Pennsylvania that I'm very familiar with. And they're like talking about Evan Peters cracking a case in Upper Darby. I'm like, oh my God, hey.
That's like, yeah, they would say one word. They'd be like Malvern. They didn't say that.
They didn't. They're like the Wegmans and Malvern.
They're like, oh yeah, she's a prissy girl from the main line. And I'm like, I know what that means. Like, I liked it. I like if you I was telling Jonathan, because he wasn't giving it a chance at first. And I was like, how could you not give this a chance? They could make the worst movie about where I'm from and I would still give it 5 stars because I'm from there.
We did. We watched the Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, and of course the one that that was filmed in my town sucked. And the one
I loved that though. Remember, I was gassed
which
for
was
it.
better.
Amerivie sound for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm like, let's not even
crazy?
put them on the same playing field.
No.
I just I like to give our show recommendations because a lot of people will be like, oh, what are you watching right now? That's what, obviously we're still catching up on Jersey. Oh, we're on season 11. But this, if you need a break, this doesn't feel like a mental break because it's really intense, but
it is
so beautifully acted. And up until the 7th episode, we were still having twists and turns. Like the whole show, it's like you never know who did it. Never know. And then how it ends, I'm like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and I thought I did. I thought I did a couple times, and
you
and we
love
ended
to
up there.
shout in the middle of an episode or a movie what the ending is, and usually you're right. And I'm like, could you just keep that to yourself because I'm not smart.
Well, when I'm watching something that you've already seen, you'll just tell me what factually is the ending.
Well, neither of us are perfect people.
So should we get into today's episode?
Okay, Aaron Brockovich.
Oh my God, yeah, we watched Aaron Brockovich too. I put it on, a Julia Roberts movie I chose to put on because I'm a good person,
Did you like it?
I did. Oh my God, especially it being a true story, and it's a feel good movie, and I enjoyed, for the record, Julia Roberts in that movie.
I like when she goes, "Oh, we got off to on the wrong foot," and she goes, "That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet and fucking ugly shoes."
That was so crazy because
that was a read. That I'm like, okay, was a drag queen on set?
Yeah,
that was
had to
a
have been
fucking read.
a gay
bitch.
man feeding the lines. Okay, let's get into today's episode. We have lots of stories to cover. You understand?
Yeah, we should get into it.
I've got a camper who found a love letter from her brother's girlfriend that had an unexpected plot twist.
Oh gosh, I have a camper who's truly experienced nana nightmare.
And a real scary story, including a ski trip and a terrifying visitor on a couple's retreat. It's very, very much like the 2008 blockbusters hit The Strangers. It's a scary story, and we'll get to it.
Let's get into it. This episode is sponsored in part by BetterHelp.
We often hear about red flags we should avoid, but what if we focused more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? If you're not sure what that looks like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. Personally, I learned so much in therapy. Not only did I learn how to have a more optimistic view of life, especially when the world is chaotic, but I also learned how to form better relationships and really look for those green flags in people. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. And you can easily switch therapists at any time at no cost.
Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/camp to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/CAMP.
Are we qualified to be giving advice? No. Are we going to do it anyway? Absolutely. Welcome back to Dear Counselors. This is the part of the show where we give advice. Is it good advice? Nobody's been saying that, but I like to think that it is.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people feel mixed about the advice.
And that's okay because it's a mixed bag. It is trail mix after all.
True.
Hey, happy counselors.
Hey.
I just wanted to thank you for making me laugh and brightening my day. I always look like a complete psycho while laughing to myself while walking my dog around the neighborhood. Also, Jonathan, thank you for reminding me about A Rosy Christmas. Oh my God, I'm not the only one. I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it, and I immediately went on Spotify and brought back so many memories. You're so welcome for that. Thanks for being a committed camper and giggling with us here. Anyway, I need your advice. My little brother, 23, and his girlfriend, also 23, have been together for a little over 5 years. They were living with my mom for a while, but recently moved out of state together. I was at my mom's the other day, and she was going through some of their things and found a notebook with a love letter from my brother's girlfriend to another man.
Ooh.
In the letter, she tells the guy that she has loved him since they kissed, but they can no longer see each other. The letter has to be over a year old since she hasn't lived with my mother in over a year, but I have no idea when it was written. I do know that she wrote it while she was dating my brother and not before because she mentions my brother in the letter. Do I tell my brother what we found? It's possible that he already knows and they've worked through it since it's an older letter, but if he doesn't know, I feel like he should. My brother and I aren't super close since we're about 10 years apart, so I'm not sure how he would take it. I don't want him or her to get upset about us snooping, but we weren't looking for it. We just stumbled across it while organizing their things. Any advice would be appreciated. I'm really stuck on what to do.
We weren't snooping, we were organizing.
No, yeah, you were. You saw the
Yeah, you were
things
snooping.
and you saw an envelope and you opened it. And hey, Camper, I'm on your side with it. Do you have advice? I have thoughts.
I wouldn't say anything. I think that they are adults. And I think you're opening up a can of worms that you're not prepared for, that could fracture the family. I would, if you really feel like you need to say something, I would talk to her and not him about it. You're not super close with him. And I hold resentment for things that with my siblings still. You know what I mean? And I think I was really close with some people in my family, and then things happened, and I am better with them now, but things will never be the same. And I wish it would have been the same, but one blowout thing can really affect long term. And these are the people you're going to see for a long time if they're going to stay together. I would give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was some sort of therapeutic thing where like, I'm going to write it down and get my emotions out, and then maybe that'll feel better. You just said that you're not really close with him. So I don't know. It's tricky. And I see why you're trying to like protect him, but I don't think it's going to work out for you or him. I don't think anyone's going to win from this. And I don't think you're going to feel better after. I think it's going to make things worse. And I don't want people to listen to that and be like, oh, Zach's the kind of person that wouldn't like, if this was your best friend, it would be different. But your brother that's 10 years younger than you, that you're not really close with, and that you're going through their stuff, even though you're saying you're organizing it, I'm laughing thinking like you went through it. Like as an outside perspective, I don't see how you're going to come out the winner here. You're only going to like hurt your own relationships. And they're still together, and maybe he does know or maybe he doesn't, but that's their life to figure out. And I don't think you came across it in a way that was like, they're just going to look at it like you were snooping. So
and then trying to like tear something apart. I agree.
I see where you're coming from, but he's not going to see where you're coming from.
Right. It's also like you didn't walk in on his girlfriend cheating on him. You don't know when this note was written. You don't know if they've talked about it.
Well, they were together, which is shady.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't know if this is something that they already worked through. But you also said that they moved out of state. So my assumption, maybe this is wrong assumption, but like if this man was something in that state, I'm assuming he's not in the state that they moved to. So So I don't know. Maybe there could be a future situation with this girlfriend
They're young.
cheating.
Too, aren't they young?
Yeah, they're 23. If
So-
she's like a serial cheater, I feel like take a step back and just like let the pieces fall where they may on their own. I feel like if that's her style, she'll probably find a different way to do it and she'll get caught up doing it. The cream always rises, you know? Just I don't want you and your relationship with your brother to fracture because of her messiness.
Things can fracture and they can heal, but that scar
It's still
will
there.
always be there, and you're not going to win this one. I'm sorry.
Scary stories around the campfire.
Welcome back to Scary Stories, the double feature. My
That's
God.
right.
This is the drive-in, and by the time Jonathan does his, you'll be sleepy because it's 11. And you're like, why did the drive-in start the movie at 9:30? I can't watch 2 movies. And that's a fault. That's a fault.
What?
When the drive-in does 2 movies, but they don't start until sunset and it's 9 o'clock. And I'm like, the first movie ended at 11:20 and now we're starting.
Well, you want to start the movie when the sun's still up, babe. We can't do it in
No,
the
I
winter.
know.
We could do a 4 p.m. feature
I
in
know.
January.
I just like wish they knew that like we don't need the second feature because my car's pulling out.
Well, some people like really want to get their money's worth. Nobody's keeping you. The gates are up, you know. They're not going to be like, well, you got to get your money's worth. You got to stay for the
Does
second
anyone
one.
ever leave in the middle of the movie, like backing up and they have like the beeping sounds?
Oh my God, people
Beep.
get pissed if you have your headbeam or your headlights on.
Well, don't. That's easy. Just turn those off.
But then you can't see. What if there's somebody laying in the ground kissing?
Oh, so you're just there to snoop.
Oh, of course.
You're such a frogger. This scary story made me laugh out loud. And I'm laughing out loud this year. That's what I'm doing. Dear counselors, that's you. And that's me. I've been an avid listener of the pod for years now, and I truly do not know what I would do without you guys on my Monday and Wednesday commutes. You keep me roaring, and I'm so happy I found you both many moons ago. You get the lingo.
Many moon ago.
Many
We love you.
moon
I love that
ago.
we're in everybody's ears. Like I feel like we really are just like a big
We're frogging
community.
again. We're frogging in the ears.
Hell yeah.
My story is truly a horrifying one to be told. Picture it. The year is 2005. I'm 14, and it's the summer I'm about to go into my freshman year of high school. For the payoff of this story, I can't be anonymous.
I love that. Okay, the star of your own show. Who are we talking to?
So I'm going to have to give myself a name. So I'm like, is this your name or did you give yourself a name?
Okay.
Let's call me Michelle.
Okay. So we are anonymous. Okay, love it, Michelle.
So yeah, and it's also so funny that when you guys give yourselves, like, why did you pick that?
Yeah. Wait, can we call you Mitchie?
Yeah, we'll call her Mitchie. No, I'm gonna say Michelle because she wrote it. For my entire life, my absolute best friend in the entire world is my cousin. We're gonna call her Sarah. So the story's about Michelle and Sarah.
Oh my God, Sarah Michelle. Geller.
Oh my God. I didn't even catch that.
I know what you did last summer.
Sarah, oh my God, this is her. This is literally her. I know what you did last summer. Sarah and I have been inseparable since the day we were born. We're the same age, so we've gone through every phase of life together. This is so you and your cousin Mark.
This is so me and Mark.
So Sarah has always been the more outgoing one of the two of us. For example, around the same time the story unfolds, our parents told us that we were not allowed to buy thongs when we went to Target.
That's such a specific Target request.
Well, that didn't stop Sarah from buying a 3-pack and putting all of them on over her pants and doing cartwheels in the living room shouting, "You can't make me return them now." It's like, well, they weren't dirty. They're over your jeans. Let this be a little sneak peek as to what she'll say later. So I live in New York while Sarah lives in New Jersey. Due to this, we obviously didn't go to the same school or have all the same friends, but we knew all of our besties and took them in as our own. Because we were close enough in proximity to do so, every summer I would spend a week at Sarah's house. We'd go to the movies, play the most obnoxious games in the pool, and stay up late gossiping about boys while listening to burned CDs. This is girlhood. This is what teenagers should be doing. This is a perfect summer. I love this, and I'm so happy that you had this experience because that's just like perfect. Cut back to being in the pool. Now, I'll have you know, counselors, that I am 100% Italian, so the body hair can be no joke. And let's not overlook the more modest Italian mother who did not want her daughter to be shaving her body. Well, I'm sure you can imagine we were in our bathing suits and my nunu nana was indeed not shaved.
No, guys, that's such an awkward age.
Sarah saw this and was shocked.
my God, I don't know.
She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Obviously, I was embarrassed and furious with my mother for not letting me do this. But I wasn't mad at Sarah. She seemed more concerned for me being made fun of than anything else. She's like, listen, girl, I don't care. We're in the backyard of the pool. But if we go to the beach, bitch, the Jersey Shore, you can't be walking down there first. Like, we got to figure this out, sissy. Now, at the end of this particular week, Sarah's parents were having a party. We couldn't wait to run around the yard, annoying our parents and playing manhunt when the sun went down. I love this. I had no idea who was coming to this party, but lo and behold, my world stopped when a boy walked into the yard. Let's call him Nick. He was everything 14-year-old girls dreamed of. Brown hair, crystal blue eyes, trying out for the football team. I was instantaneously hooked. There was one problem. Sarah already had a huge crush on Nick, so he was off limits.
Oh, did she call dibs? I'm sorry.
You never called dibs on anyone? I called dibs on a girl, and like, that was crazy.
It's like, who am I calling dibs on? I didn't have I guess it's different because I didn't have competition.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, the straight guys are calling dibs on me. Privately.
Oh, some of the football team.
Woo!
With Acton High.
Jonathan,
What?
You're not going to say it, so don't even tease. Nick and I got to talking and found out that we lived not too far away from each other. I knew it was wrong, but I just couldn't help myself. We started to see each other more and more, and after that day, I couldn't deny our preteen chemistry any longer. I shouldn't have started talking to him, but we were obviously going to get married, and I couldn't avoid my undying love. My parents got wind of our romance and told me that I had to come clean to Sarah. While I didn't want to, I knew it was the right thing to do. Sarah was not happy with me, and I remember we walked laps around my cul-de-sac for what felt like hours, explaining the situation to her on the phone. This is so fun. This was the only time her and I had ever fought, and I hated it. But eventually, she accepted Nick and I's relationship, and the fight was over. Or so I thought.
Oh, God.
Cut to a few weeks later, and Sarah's parents were having another party, where Nick would also be. I had gotten there before him, and Sarah was acting completely normal. I was so excited for Nick to get there and to hang out with him and my whole family. But that dream quickly became a nightmare as he walked into the room. In front of me, Nick and 7 of our other cousins, 4 of them being boys, Sarah decided to yell at the top of her lungs, "Michelle doesn't shave her pubes."
Oh, my God. Out of nowhere, a monster.
You could hear a pin drop. Nick looked like a deer in the headlights. My boy cousins quickly started snickering, and I was the color of a tomato. I couldn't believe she held on to my bathing suit mishap and used it to her advantage. Sarah may have accepted me and Nick, but not before she extracted the ultimate revenge.
Sarah, that was a low blow. That was.
20 years later, Sarah and I still cackle about this story. Needless to say, Nick and I did not get married. We barely dated a month after that day. Signed, the camper begging for a razor in the showers.
Oh, God. You know what? We're grown now, but so is the hair.
Okay, whatever. Like, it was embarrassing, it was funny, and they're still, like, really close. And I thought it was hysterical. It was awful, but, like...
No, that is funny, because now for the rest of your life, you can be like, hey, Sarah, remember that time you fully told not only the guy I was dating, but our family members that I have
my
a
hairy snatch.
bush? That's crazy.
Yeah, and she's like, remember the time that you stole my man?
Oh,
And there it is.
and then the room goes silent again. I, too, have a scary story.
Ooh, I'm ready to be spooked.
Okay, this one, like I said in the intro, where is my iPad? Oh. Like I said in the intro, it's frightening. It's spooky. It's scary. So if you're in the dark right now, you might want to turn the light on.
You might want to turn the light on.
Hi. Well, she wrote compliments at the top, but I feel like we just like keep reading compliments about ourselves, and I'm like, it just feels like narcissistic, and I don't like it. But
Me walking into the room going, hi. Not even, hey, how's it going? Hi. Honestly, if you don't know what to write to start your episode, you can just write, hi. I love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
you can skip the comments. They're sweet, but we don't do that every time.
Okay. Oh, well, I will say that this girl, She's heading to see us live.
Oh.
Okay, in Boston.
Yay!
And she's from Falmouth.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah, she said, I'm across the bay in Falmouth from New Bedford. I love Falmouth. You like Falmouth too. Remember we went down that main street in Falmouth?
Yeah.
And we ate at the Mexican restaurant. It's so good. What is it called? I want to say Anejo, which means bomb.
The one with the skeletons on the door? On the bathroom door?
They typically, no, that one you're thinking of.
Zaco Taco.
You're thinking of Providence.
Okay.
But I love your town of Falmouth.
Okay, here we go. I was dating my high school boyfriend who had already gone to college. Let's call him Alan.
Hi, Alan.
We did long distance, so we didn't get to see each other that often. We planned a ski trip at my family's little A-frame in Vermont, which we would have to ourselves. I felt like I couldn't tell my dad it was just me and Alan, so I lied and I said my entire friend group would be there.
Typical. That's classic. What else are you going to do?
Alan and I arrived at the house and started unpacking the car. Immediately, something was amiss. I walked into the house, which we had always kept at 55 degrees Fahrenheit when not in use. I set my stuff down on the kitchen counter, and on the countertop was a frozen ice cube.
That's insane already. I'm actually nauseous already by thinking about that because it would be melted if it was at 55.
Correct. She writes, I thought, that's weird. It should have melted if it was left there, ... And I asked Alan why he got an ice cube out of the freezer. He explained that he hadn't even set foot in the kitchen yet. Yikes. I tried to get the random ice cube out of my mind and we finished unpacking.
That's what I would do. I'd be like, just delete that. That's why I push forward. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't know what that was.
What was that, you guys?
I was so scared that wasn't me.
Having a house all to ourselves as teenagers was so exciting, and we wasted no time getting to the new nana. We felt wild and chose the shower to be our environment of choice. But your girl had body image issues, so I opted to keep the lights off. As we were doing our thing, I smell smoke. The water made it tough to smell, but after a minute, my self-conscious little self turned on the lights to see that the bathroom had smoke towards the ceiling. I flung the door open to a wall of smoke.
Oh my God.
I start freaking out and I yelled that Alan needs to go figure out what's going on. I saw that a fire had started in the fireplace. When did you start a fire? I asked him, to which he responded, I never started a fire.
I would scream. I would literally start screaming. I would just start screaming nonstop.
We got into adrenaline mode and opened all the doors and windows on the main floor. It was a teeny tiny adorable home with only lofts upstairs, and we started airing out the place as we tried to get the smoke going out of our windows. As the smoke dissipates, I start to investigate. Alan is quietly spiraling.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what to do.
I see that the flue in the fireplace had been closed, which is why the smoke had filled the house.
Mm-hmm.
I checked the smoke detectors, which had been forcefully pulled out of the wall and hanging by the wires. In parentheses, she just wrote a bunch of exclamation marks.
This is now
Nefarious.
Dangerous. Nefarious. This
Uh-huh.
is very nefarious. Like this. So let's go through the chain of command here. Ice on the counter, fire started while you were in the shower with the flue closed and all the smoke detectors ripped out of the walls. This is actually really scary.
You're in grave danger, girl.
Yeah, get out of there, girl. You're in danger.
It became obvious to me that someone was in the house. I explained to Alan that we need to start checking the rooms. I get a fire poker and head upstairs, demanding he come with me. Alan needs to step it the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that there needs to be a man in this situation, but I'm saying in this situation, we need two brave people.
We do.
Okay?
Yeah,
you're cowering. Your knees are buckling, probably your bony knees, please. He follows behind me until I ask him to climb up the ladder to go to the loft. Because he's a significantly larger human than me. I forget exactly what I said, but I ended up climbing the fucking ladder to see if a smoke-crazed murderer was up there. Chivalry was not well in 2007 for this camper. Anyway, I gather all my strong mama courage, and I check to see that no one is in any of the 3 bedrooms in the loft. Thanks be to Sandwich. We settled down a little bit, and for the life of me, I wish I hadn't, but what was a scared teenage girl to do other than call her dad? I called him and I tried to explain what happened, but obviously couldn't explain what we were doing when we smelled the smoke. So I hearkened back to my original lie. I said my friends and I were out for a walk, walking around the neighborhood, and we came back to see that the house was filled with smoke. As soon as he hears the smoke detectors were pulled from the wall, he's in his car and on his way. 4.5 hours later. Okay, so this whole time they're like just waiting around for dad to come for 4.5 hours.
I was also
That's
trying to
scary.
figure it out too because they were in Vermont. So it's like, where did you? From Falmouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're driving up from the Cape. That's a long drive, and they also were like high in Vermont.
Yeah. I had to explain why it was only me and my boyfriend when my dad got there. I sheepishly explained that my friends had left because they were so scared. Okay, that's valid. This is also 2007. We don't have a Ring doorbell. But I was mortified that he most likely knew what happened and that I had lied about being alone with a ladder-fearing Alan. My boyfriend was, of course, given a couch that night while my dad slept in the room next to the door that I lofted in. Okay, yeah, so dad's like placing himself in between, as you do.
He should.
Again, the house is tiny, so we could all pretty much hear each other breathing. It was a very uncomfortable night's sleep for many reasons. And then we left in the morning, so they don't find anything while they're there.
Well, it's a small A-frame too, so it's like once you look, you look. So the person must have escaped.
Oh, I'm looking in the woods. I'm looking behind trees. I have a similar story that I'll keep brief after I finish the story. We left the next morning. Cut to present day. I'm chatting with my uncle, who explains that his buddy's son, who went to a college nearby in Vermont, confessed to sneaking into the A-frame house, quote, back in the day when he needed a break from his dorm life. This is 1,000% the same time frame when this story happened. He also worked as a chef in one of the best restaurants in our town, and I had seen him a handful of times and exchanged small talk. I am mortified now, and I wonder if he knows that I was the one invading his frog oasis. You guys, campers, if you don't remember what frogging is, we talked about it a while back when we thought somebody was frogging in our Airbnb. It's like when you're living your normal life and somebody else is living their normal life in your attic and you don't know about it. So that's essentially what this guy was doing, or so they think. I imagine he was making a drink with ice cubes on the day in question when he heard the car pull in and panicked, left the ice cube, and hid in the house until he had an opportunity to slip out. But it still begs the question, why? Why did he start a fire? This bozo was being a creepy, frog-adjacent squatter, leaving ice cubes and starting fires while he heard "nunu nana." Ick. I now live in this same small town in Vermont where this A-frame is located, and I think it's silly because I visit family at that house so often. Okay, so we're like totally back to normal. I don't know. I would ask him. I would find that guy, at least on Facebook, and be like, was this you? I need confirmation. I need to lay this to rest, I also, of course, broke up with frickin' Alan, and I'm married to a man who would absolutely be the first to climb the ladder in this situation, since he used to be a volunteer firefighter. Baby, we upgraded. You really did. So I guess I learned something from all this, and always check for frogs. Reporting from the very much occupied No Squatters Allowed Cabin 14. I'm still not convinced until we talk to that man.
I also hate it, and I also think the fire was so sinister. If the frogging was innocent because he was leaving his dorm and say he was making a drink, like we said, and the ice was on the table, then leave.
Yeah.
Why start a fire?
Yeah.
With a closed flue with all the smoke detectors pull that's.
My only other thought could have been that maybe he started the small fire right when they happened to be pulling into the thing. He heard the car. He grabs his drink.
Babe,
I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
You're unloading an entire thing. You're walking in the house. You're starting a fire. But you're opening your suitcase.
It's weird.
The fire. They would have smelled the smoke immediately. The flue's closed. If you start a fire and the flue's closed,
yeah, you would. They would know. They would know. I don't know. I don't know.
It was
weird.
Done after they were in the shower. I hate that. I'm glad you're okay, but
yeah, that could have been spooky.
It already was spooky, and honestly, like, ooh, I just like hate that. But that's scary.
I was with my friend Gabby, my friend Tiffany, and Tiffany's boyfriend at the time, and it was the four of us, and we were up her house in the Poconos in the mountains. It's a really small house, and there's like no neighbors for like miles. It's a dirt road. There's no service, and we're all in the house, and we see the fire outside has started. And we didn't start the fire. And to this day, we don't know what happened. But that freaked me out.
Was it in a fire pit? Or
it was in a fire pit.
That's
Yes, it was like in a
gross.
contained spot. That was really scary to me. And then something happened. They had well water, but the water heater was in the basement and there was no hot water coming out. And to get to the basement, you had to go outside and through
Bulkhead.
Yeah, through the bulkhead, unless you wanted to pull back the fucking carpet in the middle of the living room, which I was like, I'm not doing that horror movie shit. That's terrifying. And no, the other straight man who was there wouldn't do it. So guess who did it? Me, by myself. I went downstairs and I don't remember what happened, if the water was turned off or we just ran out of water. I'm sure we ran out of hot water, but we don't know how the fire started.
Did you know what to do when you got to the boiler?
Yeah, there was just like two knobs. It was like, because Gabby's dad, I had been there before, and Gabby's dad was like, you're the man of the house here. I'm going to show you how to turn on the hot water. So I was the one who did it when we got there. So I knew what to do. It wasn't that hard, but I didn't want to be the one to go down there after we found the fire. I'm scared.
No, that's scary. And also, did anyone go with you?
Nobody went with me. And I had
No.
to go outside of the house and around the back of the house where
I would
there's
have had a
no
cold
light.
shower or just not showered.
There's also an outhouse. So to go to the bathroom, you had to go that same way and you had to go outside, and there was a light switch in the outhouse, but it was in the house. So my friends were pranksters. So if somebody's out there, that light's going off. Scary.
Wiping in the dark is the scariest thing that can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it's spooky. Because it's like, am I done? I don't know.
Well, we're going to leave you on that spooky note for today's episode. If you have any great, funny, scary, advice-seeking questions or just want to gossip a little, you can send any of your stories to camcounselorspodcast.com or camcounselorspod@gmail.com. You also, it would be great if you could rate and review our show 5 stars and share it with a friend, post it on your story, grow the camp, buy a ticket to one of my shows if you're interested, or just have a good meal. I just want you guys to be eating well and living well and enjoying your lives and enjoying the show. So I hope wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening, you're having a good day, and this hopefully made your day a little bit better, because that's the goal here, even throughout the frogging scariness of it all.
Amen.
And anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. You said it all.
Well, I'm glad. And with that being said,
Lights out, campers.